Xianxia did not expect that the world-defying beast would be able to absorb most of the medicinal power, because he had never faced such a situation before. Now that he heard Xianxia say this, he started to suspect, and anxiously went to check on the sixth world-defying beast in the Divine Sense Sea world. After investigating, he found that there was a large amount of energy inside those world-defying beasts that was unique to the Myriad Tao Divine Soil Pill. Although they had already refined it, Xianxia was able to discern the remaining chi. Top plus. So it's these guys. But why didn't you absorb it before? Xianxia felt that it was a little strange. Previously, when he was cultivating, he did not notice that these world-defying beasts had absorbed his medicinal power. Feng Kur said, maybe because previously they were very strong and felt that there was no need to increase their strength for now. Now that they have come to this place, they felt that their own strength was not strong enough and started to strengthen themselves. They are a part of you anyway. They are your power. That's true. If the world-defying beast is strong, it's also equivalent to increasing a part of my strength. It's a good thing for me. Xianxia only needed to waste more time to cultivate. He was not lacking in the area of Myriad Tao Divine Soil Pills, because he had the two young girl Danling S, Zhang Lizi and, to help him condense the pellet. Even if there was a lot of commotion, it wouldn't be enough to wake him up. Xianxia, on the other hand, continued to eat the Myriad Tao Divine Soil Pellet to cultivate. The only way to condense the world-defying stage Fierce Soul was to make his body stronger. Currently, Xianxia was the only one who was extremely relaxed, because she had already reached a bottleneck, and it was unknown how she would be able to break through. Furthermore, since Xianxia was training seriously, she couldn't disturb Xianxia either. Although Xianxia was cultivating, he was still able to keep an eye on the things happening around him. He saw Xianxia walking back from where he came, and laughed. Did you find any treasures on the island? Although this is the world-defying Holy Dragon's old nest, I haven't found anything. Xianxia shook his head, and said, you should focus on your cultivation. I've been training very seriously this entire time. Xianxia curled his lips. But you seem to have nothing to do, walking around everywhere. There's nothing I can do. I've reached a bottleneck, and it's not something I can break through. Xianxia had also not reached her level, so she could not discuss anything with him. What problem did you encounter? Do you think I can help you solve it? Xianxia asked. If I can help you solve it, then maybe when I encounter the same problem in the future, I'll be able to easily solve it. Xianxia knew that Xianxia was about to step into the Aoshi Holy Stage, so it was normal for him to run into problems. My problem isn't good. After all, I just stepped into the peak of world-defying crazy realm not too long ago, and I've already broken through from the middle stage of the world-defying crazy realm all of a sudden to the peak. If I were to attack the Aoshi Holy Stage now, it would definitely be very difficult. Xianxia said, so this is a normal thing. It won't be too late after another 100 years. Xianxia shook his head and said, the time I need to cultivate all the way is much shorter than others. Some people might break through too quickly, but I have never encountered any disadvantages. The only way I can cultivate so quickly is through pills. Many realms, in the eyes of most people, require thousands and thousands of years to break through. By consuming medicinal pills, I was able to break through successfully. What Xianxia said was the truth, and he would be able to prove it to Xianxia very soon. That's you. Xianxia didn't know what to do. She had already seen Xianxia's Myriad Tao Divine Soil Pill. If Xianxia were to continuously consume the Myriad Tao Divine Soil Pill, he would definitely be able to break through quickly. Furthermore, it wouldn't be long before they could reach the peak of world-defying crazy realm. The time required to do so was definitely much less than the amount of time needed to reach the so-called genius disciples of the large clans. Shuang. If you have any problems, then do it. Xianxia laughed. Don't be embarrassed. Xianxia snorted lightly and said, stepping into the Aoshi Holy Stage requires all 4 world-defying stage fierce fighting souls within my body to become arrogant sacred battle souls. The process of transformation won't be easy. Can't I consume pills? Xianxia asked. This won't do because if one wants to raise the berserker soul, They will need to constantly search for suitable world-defying stage fierce soul S from the world-defying stage soul river to devour. This is an extremely long process. Qin Shuang sighed. Chun Xiang frowned. There's no rush, no rush. We'll go find Wang Dao when we leave this place. This guy should know how to solve this problem. The last time, he could have refined the world-defying stage fierce soul on the way to King. But he had only told Chun Xiang the direction. He did not have the specific details either, so he had to comprehend it on his own. Actually, I am not in a rush right now. I have already experienced stepping into the Aoshi Holy Stage once, and I know that this stage is extremely difficult. You know Zhu Hai Profound and He Yensong, right? They are only in the middle stage of the world-defying crazy realm, and they have stopped for a long time, especially He Yensong. He himself is a member of the Soul River Divine Race, but he has stayed in this stage for such a long time. Chun Xiang understood what Qin Shuang meant. This stage required a very long time before one could break through. In the remaining time, Qin Shuang did not cultivate. She was researching on the blood flames here. The blood flames were extremely powerful and could melt Crystal Emperor, but the island was right in the middle of the Blood Wind Fire Sea, and there was nothing wrong with it. Several months had passed, and Chun Xiang felt that his body had improved a lot compared to before. He now felt that it was about enough. He could go to the world-defying stage Soul River to find a suitable world-defying stage Fierce Soul. Right now, eating Huaquandan was still effective. Moreover, this kind of Huaquandan was of extremely high quality. Both Zhang Lizi and Zhang Sihua could condense it, and after evolving, they could condense low-quality pills even faster, and the quality would also be higher. After Chun Xiang ate a Huaquandan, his spirit quickly broke through the world-defying stage Soul River. In one breath, he arrived at the third floor of the world-defying stage Soul River and started to search for the world-defying stage Fierce Soul. Qin Shuang also knew that Chun Xiang was about to begin fusing with the world-defying stage Fierce Soul, so she said from the side, "If your body becomes stronger, the released spirit will become stronger, and this kind of strong spirit can attract the strong world-defying stage Fierce Soul. That's why all of us fierce fighting goddess train our physical bodies to the peak before we begin to fuse with them. World-defying stage Fierce Fighting Soul is even harder to find than normal world-defying stage Fierce Soul. So fierce fighting god's breakthrough speed is extremely slow, but is still extremely powerful. The only thing Chun Xiang wanted to do now was to find a world-defying stage Fierce Soul that he was satisfied with, and then step into the middle stage of the world-defying crazy realm. Because of his previous experience with fusing with the world-defying stage Fierce Soul, Chun Xiang had already made preparations to use a long time to search for the world-defying stage Fierce Soul. However, just as he was about to make his preparations, he suddenly sensed a very strong world-defying stage Fierce Soul rushing towards him. It was just a ball of light, but it carried a very strong dragon's might. Chun Xiang was sure that it was a world-defying stage Fierce Soul related to a dragon. Chun Xiang only sensed this aura and decided to fuse with the world-defying stage Fierce Soul. After the ball of light came over, he anxiously released his strongest spirit to envelop the ball of light, causing Chun Xiang to be fully prepared. He had previously eaten so many myriad Tao divine soil pills, his strong body allowing him to release a very strong spirit. Thus he was able to catch the ball of light in an instant. What is this world-defying stage Fierce Soul? After Chun Xiang's spirit had enveloped the ball of light, he saw a faint shadow of a dragon inside. He had never heard of the berserk battle soul of a dragon. This kind of dragon world-defying stage Fierce Soul should be very strong. I have never heard of it before. Chun Xiang was surprised. That world-defying holy dragon had such a powerful world-defying stage Fierce Soul. He never thought that it would be such a coincidence that they could come across such a powerful world-defying stage Fierce Soul in such a short amount of time. After Chun Xiang wrapped the ball of light with his spirit chi, he anxiously brought it back to the Divine Sense Sea. As long as he could get it into his Divine Sense Sea, then the world-defying stage Fierce Soul would be his. Not long after, the struggling world-defying stage Fierce Soul was successfully dragged by him into the Divine Sense Sea, and Chun Xiang immediately used his strongest power to fuse with this world-defying stage Fierce Soul. Under Chun Xiang's suppression, this mysterious world-defying stage Fierce Soul gradually became docile, and in the end, was successfully merged by Chun Xiang. After Chun Xiang succeeded in fusing them, when he felt the powerful energy brought about by the world-defying stage fierce soul flood his entire body. He couldn't help but laugh out loud. I really didn't expect it to go so smoothly. My luck really isn't bad. Xianxia laughed. Did I succeed? Xianxia looked at Xianxia, slightly unable to believe it, because Xianxia had only just started not too long ago. Furthermore, he had only eaten a Huaquan Dan. Yet he found a world-defying stage fierce soul that he was satisfied with, and dragged it back to fuse with it. Of course, right now I am in the middle stage of the world-defying crazy realm. Xianxia laughed proudly. You aren't going to fuse with the madness soul of the first level of world-defying stage soul river, are you? Because Wang Dao had previously said that the world-defying stage fierce soul could be strengthened later on in life. She suspected that, in order to break through, Xianxia had used it to fuse with the weakest world-defying stage fierce soul. No, I found it on the 3rd floor, and it's a pretty dragon. Xianxia stuck out his tongue. The dragon world-defying stage fierce soul on the 3rd floor shouldn't be weak, right? After Xianxia heard it, he opened his sexy lips slightly. He was so shocked that he couldn't even speak. A wave of jealousy welled up from the bottom of his heart. Because how could it be so easy for Xianxia to fuse with such a powerful world-defying stage fierce soul? Looking at the smiling Xianxia in front of him, it seemed like he could fuse with such a powerful world-defying stage fierce soul easily. Xiao Shuangshuang, what's wrong? Xianxia saw that Xianxia was frowning and his face was filled with hidden bitterness. The world-defying stage fierce soul you have fused with is very strong. That is an existence that belongs to the top of the mad battle soul, and is commonly known as the arrogant mad dragon soul. Xianxia said with a serious face. This kind of arrogant dragon soul is normally only found by world-defying stage soul river of the 4th floor, but it's extremely rare, and already close to the level of legends. Xianxia looked at the gigantic world-defying holy dragon that was coiled on the ground not far away and said softly, the reason why this guy is so powerful is because he was born with the arrogant dragon soul. I don't understand world-defying stage fierce soul at all. Teacher will tell you, I have never used the first world-defying stage fierce soul I fused with before. You have all fused with the world-defying stage fierce soul, so you should use it frequently during battles, right? Xianxia asked. Damn you! The world-defying stage fierce soul is extremely strong. It can give you a very powerful strength. But you actually do not use it, it truly is a waste of money. Xianxia really did not expect Xianxia to be such a weirdo. The reason why my power of the cold energy is so great is because I possess the berserk battle spirit of the profound being, and subsequently fused with the berserk battle spirit related to fire, thus allowing me to fuse the two into one. Oh right, what's your first world-defying stage fierce soul? Xianxia was rather curious about Xianxia's world-defying stage fierce soul. Did you find it on the 3rd floor? World-defying stage soul river? Of course, I've been looking for a long time. Xianxia said, my first world-defying stage fierce soul is a sword. I do not know how to use it. When I am fighting, I want to activate it, but I cannot succeed. What? It's actually a sword. Xianxia was stunned yet again. Xianxia's world-defying stage fierce soul had surprised her yet again. Yes, it's a small sword. I don't know how to use it. Do you? Seeing Xianxia's surprised expression, Xianxia knew that the world-defying stage fierce soul was definitely not simple, and quickly asked, you really are wasting such a precious resource. Xianxia shouted in a depressed manner. Don't tell me you don't know that sword and world-defying stage fierce soul are a type of berserk battle spirit? Both the divine tool and the divine beast are world-defying stage fierce fighting soul. Xianxia shook his head. He was also shocked that he did not know. Then how do I use it? I can't use it at all. Xianxia curled his lips. What's the use? I really don't know how you managed to survive until now. You don't need to use such a good item. Xianxia was very speechless. Did you know? In the world-defying stage fierce fighting soul, the raging dragon soul is something out of legends, and it's rare to see, and the raging sword soul is also the same, but it's a little more than the raging dragon soul. This is the world-defying stage fierce fighting soul that many dream of, and now that you have these two powerful world-defying stage fierce fighting soul, you actually do not know how to use it. Xianxia scratched his head and laughed dryly. Also, no one has told me before, how would I know? Xianxia now believed that Xianxia had always cultivated by relying on pills and medicine, and no senior had wholeheartedly guided him before. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so ignorant. All right, you should understand by now, right? Xianxia scoffed. I'll teach you how to use these berserk fighting souls right now. Xianxia hurriedly nodded. The first is the arrogant mad sword soul. This is the Ares class mad battle soul among all mad battle souls. It is the most powerful one and also the rarest. You need to have a sword, and also have this sword placed in the divine sense C for a long period of time. You need to use the berserk sword spirit to refine this sword, and fuse the berserk sword spirit into this sword. So that's how it is. Xianxia understood. The berserk sword soul is only a soul body, he needs a body to unleash it. This kind of berserk sword soul has a spirit. If he sees that your sword is very strong, he would be happy to refine it and can easily integrate with your sword. Xianxia said. It seems like I have spent a lot of time. Otherwise, I should have finished refining it by now. Xianxia summoned his heavenly magic sword. His heavenly magic sword was very strong. That's right. Xianxia really wanted to attack Xianxia, to think that he had wasted the raging sword soul for such a long time. Where's the raging dragon soul? Xianxia asked. The raging dragon soul is even easier. Don't you have a world-defying green dragon? Just merge with the world-defying green dragon. Xianxia said, Oh right. How did your world-defying green dragon become a fire dragon? Xianxia's red fire dragon also did not look like an ordinary fire dragon, because it had wings, thick dragon scales, and huge claws, making it look even more mighty and tyrannical. It was only because Xianxia's cultivation was not enough. If Xianxia were to increase in cultivation, the red fire dragon he released would definitely be much stronger than the world-defying holy dragon. Access. I had a fortuitous encounter in the past and obtained a mysterious thing that could turn my world-defying green dragon into a red fire dragon. Xianxia said. Anyway, releasing the red fire dragon would consume a lot of energy. That's true. After all, that thing is very strong. When Xianxia thought about red fire dragoness at this time, he still felt extremely shocked. I'll try and see if I can merge the berserk sword soul into my sword first. Xianxia said, I want to enter the time domain. Xianxia nodded his head. If you use it successfully, your strength will definitely become even stronger. Xianxia entered the Yu Yao mountain villa and released the time domain to envelop him within. He then began to follow Xianxia's instructions and used the berserker sword soul to release its power to refine the heavenly magic sword. When Xianxia's berserker sword soul saw the heavenly magic sword, it felt extremely excited, as if it was a little spirit. It happily went around the heavenly magic sword in a circle, and at the same time, absorbed a large amount of Xianxia's world-defying stage fierce power, and then released a unique energy that poured into the heavenly magic sword. The time needed to refine it was very long. Only after successfully refining it, the berserk sword soul would be able to fuse with the heavenly magic sword, and when Xianxia uses the heavenly magic sword again, he would be able to become even stronger. It had taken Xianxia several years to complete the refinement process. Fortunately, he had used the second stage of time domain, so he was able to save a lot of time while it only lasted for 2 or 3 days outside. Success! Xianxia was surprised to see Xianxia coming out so quickly, even though she already knew that Xianxia had used the power of time. Yes! Xianxia held the heavenly magic sword in his hand and laughed. Do you feel any changes? Xianxia had fought with Xianxia before, so she shook her head. I don't feel anything, but have you really succeeded? No, you haven't even released your power yet. That's true. Xianxia took a deep breath, and then activated the frenzy sword method. The heavenly magic sword suddenly trembled, and a wave of berserk chi gushed out, causing Xianxia to hurriedly retreat. So powerful! Xianxia shouted in shock. Enough! Don't disturb the world-defying holy dragon. Xianxia immediately stopped. He did not feel anything from Xianxia's expression. He knew that after the berserker sword soul merged with the heavenly magic sword, It would allow him to become even more powerful when he used his sword techniques. Next, I'll slowly let the raging dragon soul merge with the world-defying green dragon. Xianxia felt that it was not too hard, and now he realized that the arrogant dragon soul had already entered into the world-defying green dragon's body and was fusing with the world-defying green dragon. It was only a matter of time. In the future, you should keep a low profile. Don't act so easily. Don't expose your own strength. Qin Shuang said, once your raging sword soul and raging dragon soul are exposed, it will definitely cause others to be shocked, and it will also be very easy for those old fellows to see through it. I know I'm just a pill refiner. Fighting is just my side occupation. Xianxia laughed. Actually, I'm more proficient at using other methods. Qin Shuang only wished for Xianxia to become stronger quickly, so that she wouldn't feel too pressured. We need to wait for world-defying Holy Dragon to wake up before we can leave this place. Qin Shuang said, it's impossible for us to leave this place. Not necessarily. Xianxia laughed. Once I release the world-defying green dragon, I can fly out. That won't do. Your world-defying green dragon are not as strong as the world-defying Holy Dragon. If you encounter a sudden situation, it will be troublesome. Qin Shuang said, look at your 6 realms mirrors. It has been burnt and deformed by the blood and fire inside. Xianxia took out the 6 realms mirrors and looked at it, then curled his lips. These flames are really too evil. Actually, Xianxia really wanted to go inside to search for the Tao Creation Holy Stone, because the Tao Creation Holy Stone was not afraid of the flames here. Your grandfather is a super young old ancestor. He definitely has a way to withstand the flames here. Didn't he tell you? Xianxia asked. This? They didn't tell me. But there's a place where they should be hiding some sort of secret scripture to defend against the flames here. Qin Shuang shook his head. I just heard him say that he would enter here and use the flames here to refine Crystal Emperor. Where is the secret manual hidden? Let's go find them. Xianxia said, there are Tao Creation's Holy Stone and Tao Creation's Holy Crystals inside the Blood Wind Fire Sea. We have to look around here. If we add a little of the Tao Creation's Holy Stone into our divine equipment, that would be great. The secret scripture is in the Purple Yang Divine Palace. It's not a good time to go to Purple Yang Divine Palace now. Qin Shuang shook his head. The Purple Yang Divine Palace is inside the Heaven Old Super Realm, and you can't go there now. Who said I can't? Don't I have 2 world-defying stage fierce fighting souls? And I still have the world-defying beast. I can go back. Xianxia suddenly remembered that when Qin Shuang said that he could not go back for the time being, it was because his strength was not sufficient. Qin Shuang was previously at the middle stage of the world-defying crazy realm, and she also had 2 world-defying stage fierce fighting souls, but she could return to Heaven Old Super Realm from here. I can give it a try. Qin Shuang also wanted to find the Tao Creation's Holy Stone here, so she could only go back to Heaven Old Super Realm. Moreover, she also wanted to go back to Purple Yang Divine Palace. They had to wait for the world-defying Holy Dragon to wake up, and they didn't know how long it would take. So Xianxia entered the time domain, allowing the raging dragon soul and world-defying green dragon to fuse. What he did not expect was that after the raging dragon soul had fused with the world-defying green dragon, an earth-shattering roar had burst out from inside the sword, and it was also because of this roar that the sleeping world-defying holy dragon had been awakened. The awakened world-defying holy dragon immediately flew high into the sky, and then shouted with a voice like thunder. Xianxia, did you let your world-defying green dragon fuse with the raging dragon soul? Yes. How do you know that? Xianxia was also surprised by the roar that suddenly came out just now. I can feel that the world-defying green dragon in your body is getting stronger. I hope that you can control it in the future. The world-defying holy dragon said. Otherwise, you will be in great danger. What do you mean? Xianxia's heart jumped as he asked. If the world-defying green dragon in your body is so much stronger than you and is able to continuously grow stronger, if your strength greatly surpasses yours, then it is very possible that it will break out of your control. The world-defying holy dragon said, you don't have to worry too much. As long as there's nothing wrong with you, the difference in strength between you and the world-defying green dragon will not be too big. Xianxia heaved a sigh of relief. However, something like this has happened before. How did the few world-defying beasts I met get rid of their masters? His words caused Xianxia to worry. He thought that the world-defying holy dragon was just scaring him, but to think that such a thing would actually happen. The fact that the world-defying holy dragon knew quite a few other world-defying beasts made Xianxia wonder if there were many stronger world-defying beasts than him in the myriad Tao. World-defying holy dragon? Did you have an owner before? Xianxia laughed. He had only asked a casual question initially, but the world-defying holy dragon's reply surprised him. Yes, the world-defying holy dragon said, but it's not that I want to get rid of him, it's that he is dead. He wanted me to come out before he died and let me escape that dangerous place. I am able to have such a powerful strength. It's all because of him. Even if I'm much stronger than him, I will still not leave. World-defying holy dragon had a master, and he was very strong. Aren't you the strongest amongst all of myriad Tao? But now, the Soul River divine race does not look that good either. Xianxia had killed He Yensong previously, and he had also seen the few elders from the Soul River divine race. Although they were very strong, they were not strong enough to kill world-defying holy dragon. Soul River divine race and Fierce Saber race are both very strong. The ones on top of world-defying stage Soul River are the strongest. It's just that they rarely come to the surface. The world-defying holy dragon said, only if there is something extremely important will they personally step in. And the Soul River divine race on the ground are also very strong. But they are very arrogant, Xianxia said. They can't be considered to be arrogant. They thought they could deal with me after obtaining my life essence. But they never expected you to appear. World-defying holy dragon knew very well. If it was not 7, she would not be able to do it. It was Xianxia who snatched his life force from the Fierce Saber race. He did not know what would happen next. In the future, you need to be more careful. When you do not have enough strength, you need to hide the world-defying beast you cultivated out the most. The world-defying holy dragon said, there aren't many that can cultivate a world-defying beast, so they are all very jealous of, and even afraid of this kind of people. Moreover, they all feel that they can steal other people's world-defying beast. Xianxia had a deep experience of this matter. He had already encountered this kind of situation before when he was in the Divine Wasteland. Fortunately, he had sufficient strength back then, and was able to protect his world-defying green dragon. Send us out, Xianxia said. We still have some important things to do. Xianxia wanted to return to the Heaven-Old Super Realm with Qin Shuang to search for secret manuals to defend against the Bloodfire. If they could successfully defend against the Bloodfire here, they could freely travel through the Blood Wind Fire Sea to find the Tao Creation's Holy Stone. Xianxia and Qin Shuang jumped onto the world-defying Holy Dragon's back, and let the world-defying Holy Dragon send them out. When they were near the edge of the Blood Wind Fire Sea, the world-defying Holy Dragon suddenly said, there are quite a few people from the Fierce Saber race and the Fierce Saber race outside. I cannot just send you out like this. Maybe you guys should think about it and don't go out for the time being. They should think that we have died. Why are you still guarding outside? Xianxia found it hard to understand. They must know about you and think you're not that dead. Qin Shuang said, send me out, it's okay. Xianxia was in a hurry to return to the Purple Yang Divine Palace with Qin Shuang. The world-defying Holy Dragon drilled into the ground. Although the underground was complicated, it was filled with blood-red flames. The temperature was very high, and only the power released by the world-defying Holy Dragon could withstand it. After going down the tunnel, the world-defying Holy Dragon sent Xianxia and outside of the Blood Wind Fire Sea to a deep pit. It was extremely quiet here, and there were no people in the surrounding area. We're finally out. It's not easy. Xianxia looked at the black desert around him, as well as the blood-colored gale that appeared from time to time. Then, he took out the 6 realms mirrors and entered it, controlling it to quickly roll around and leave. How do I return to the Heaven-Old Super Realm? Xianxia asked. Above this myriad Tao, there are still the transmission arrays constructed by the Super Young Old Ancestor. will be able to return through these transmission arrays. Qin Shuang said, "At that time, I will only need to provide some energy in order to activate the transmission array. Doesn't that mean that anyone can go to the heaven-old super realm?" Chun Xiang said with a frown. "Yes, but you don't have to worry. Even if they return, it won't be of much use. Although many people know that Divine Soil Restricted Area has a large amount of myriad Tau Divine Soil crystals, no one has dared to go there for many years." Qin Shuang laughed coldly. "It's not that easy to obtain Divine Soil Restricted Areas." After carefully changing their appearances, Qin Shuang and Chun Xiang hid their auras and then headed towards the Heaven Fire City. Wang Dao was still inside the Heaven Fire City. After Chun Xiang arrived at the Heaven Fire City, he searched for Wang Dao to leave behind some secret marks in the corner of the carriage before finding the hiding place of Wang Dao. "Brat, you're not dead after all. Hurry up and come in," Wang Dao called out in a low voice. After Chun Xiang and Qin Shuang entered the room, Wang Dao immediately said, "You youngsters, you're so brave. Half-ghost old man. How did they know about me?" When Chun Xiang went into the city, he saw his own portrait. He curled his lips. "The picture on the bounty slip isn't nice at all. When I have time, I'll draw a good picture for them. Stop messing around. Things are so serious right now. You still have the mood to joke around." Wang Dao was extremely speechless. Qin Shuang and Chun Xiang didn't care about this matter in the slightest right now, and had even ran back to the Heaven Fire City. "I found out. It was a guy named Hong Qianyi who provided some information to the fierce saber race." Wang said, "You should know this guy." "Of course I know him. It was this fellow who sent me up here. He definitely would not dare to tell fierce saber race about this." Chun Xiang scoffed. "I must find this guy and let him earn my bounty." "Oh right, little demon. I never thought that you would actually enter the Purple Yang Divine Palace and find more than 10 Crystal Emperors inside. I have never seen a Crystal Emperor in my life before." Wang Daozi chuckled. Hearing that, Qin Shuang's face sunk, because Chun Xiang had never told her about this. "You bastard. You didn't even tell me when you went to Purple Yang Divine Palace." Qin Shuang's face was cold as he stared at Chun Xiang. I forgot to tell you." Chun Xiang's words made Qin Shuang even angrier. It was impossible for Chun Xiang to forget about it, because not long ago, Chun Xiang had mentioned about the Purple Yang Divine Palace to her. "Alright, I'll give you half of those Crystal Emperor. That should be fine, right?" Chun Xiang had obtained those Crystal Emperor from the Super Young Old Ancestor, while Qin Shuang was the granddaughter of the Super Young Old Ancestor. So everything inside the Purple Yang Divine Palace belonged to Qin Shuang. "How much do you have left?" Qin Shuang snorted. Chun Xiang took out 9 Crystal Emperor. He guessed that this matter would be exposed, and it was all leaked by Thief King's group. Spirit of Divine Altar asked for a few pieces himself. Chun Xiang curled his lips. "I'm not using any of them. The rest are here. I want to. Keep the rest for yourself." Qin Shuang took 2 pieces, and then glared at Chun Xiang with disdain. However, when she thought about how Chun Xiang had given her the Purple Yang Excalibur, she didn't really blame him anymore. Wang Dao saw the Crystal Emperor, but he was even more shocked by Qin Shuang's identity, as if Qin Shuang was the master of the Purple Yang Divine Palace. "How many beautiful novels? Half-ghost old man? Do you want it?" Chun Xiang asked. "Forget it, there isn't much use for me to come here. I'm just here to concoct pills." Wang Dao waved his hand. "Then keep these." Chun Xiang took out a few pieces of myriad Tau Divine Soil crystals. "Help me refine some pills. Give some to her. She wants to step into the Aoshi Holy Stage and needs to strengthen the world-defying stage Fierce Fighting Souls pills." No problem, but it will take some time." Wang Dao accepted Chun Xiang's myriad Tau Divine Soil crystal, and then took out something to inspect it. This was artificially crafted, but he didn't say anything. "What are your plans now?" Wang Dao kept the myriad Tau Divine Soil crystals and asked. "Return to Heaven Old Super Realm." Chun Xiang said, "Those guys won't find us that easily. You don't have to worry too much." "That's true. Otherwise, you wouldn't dare to come here." Wang Dao curled his lips. "Oh right, half-ghost old man. Help me check where that bastard Hong Qianyi is. Xianxia said. I will finish him before returning to the heaven-old super realm. Wang Dao's speed was very fast. In just half a day's time, he managed to find out that Hong Qianyi had also returned to the heaven-old super realm. There were a lot of myriad Tao divine soil-s in the divine soil restricted area. As a member of the heaven-old imperial family, Hong Qianyi was also a descendant of the super young old ancestor. So he believed that there was hope for them as descendants of the super young old ancestor. Although it was refined by the super young old ancestor, it was not a problem for them to use it for cultivation. That's great. That guy took so many bounties. Then hid in heaven old super realm, I will definitely find him. Chen Xiang looked at Qin Shuang, who had killing intent written all over his face. You come to me every once in a while. I'll give you the Dan. Wang Dao said. Qin Shuang and Chen Xiang left the Heaven Fire City and proceeded towards an ancient transmission array. There are a few transmission arrays that are heading to the Heaven Old Super Realm, and these transmission array are all public. They know that we are from the Heaven Old Super Realm, so they will definitely be guarding the vicinity of the transmission array, so we cannot use these transmission arrays to go back. Qin Shuang said, I'll bring you to a place where only I know the transmission array. You are the granddaughter of the super young old ancestor. You know quite a few secrets of the super young old ancestor. Chen Xiang said, Of course, my grandfather is still alive. I must find him. Qin Shuang sighed. There are some things about him that I am not sure about. For example, where he is now, I do not know. Sooner or later, I'll find him. Chen Xiang laughed. I hope there are clues in the Purple Yang Divine Palace. Qin Shuang looked at the Purple Yang Excalibur, then asked Chen Xiang about the situation when he entered the Purple Yang Divine Palace last time. Qin Shuang understood Purple Yang Divine Palace the most, so he felt that entering this place would be much easier this time. At least he wouldn't get lost and run around. After finding out about the situation inside the Purple Yang Divine Palace from Chen Xiang, Qin Shuang heaved a sigh of relief. It's not destroyed inside. That's great. Qin Shuang was worried that someone would barge in and cause damage to the Purple Yang Divine Palace. Inside were some precious things left behind by the super young old ancestor, and they were extremely important to her. Chen Xiang followed the path Qin Shuang pointed out and very quickly entered a mountain range. Finally, he arrived at the deepest part of the mountain range and found a transmission array. So secretive. Chen Xiang had entered the belly of a mountain, and then went through a tunnel in the middle of the mountain to go deeper into the ground to build an underground stone room before he finally saw the transmission array. This transmission array was not very big, it could only let 5 people stand on it. It was still hidden very well, it was not easy to find it. If you don't hide it well, it will be easy for others to find it. Qin Shuang said, There's a kind of guy here who specially searched for this ancient transmission array. The two of them stood on top of the transmission array, and Qin Shuang began to pour spirit force into it, wanting to use the transmission array. The transmission array already had the ability to absorb energy, so it quickly absorbed enough energy from Qin Shuang's body. It's about to start. Don't just walk around. Qin Shuang warned. Don't worry. I'm not a kid. I won't mess around. Chen Xiang laughed. Then his eyes flashed, and a white expanse appeared in front of him. After a while, it was pitch black in front of them. Qin Shuang took out a glowing stone and lit up his surroundings. They had already arrived at a stone room. The transmission array here is also very secretive. In the future, we can return back to the myriad Tao. Qin Shuang said, then went to open a stone door. Come. Let's go to Purple Yang Divine Palace. There's still a lot of road to walk. Chen Xiang laughed. This is the Heaven Old Super Realm. Not only can we fly, we can also use the power of teleportation. Qin Shuang had actually forgotten. She had just returned from Myriad Tao, so she did not think of this. Chen Xiang brought her and teleported to the entrance of the Purple Yang Divine Palace. From there, they would enter the ground below, and then they would see a giant fireball with the Purple Yang Divine Palace inside. The two of them were very strong, so their journey was very smooth. Not long after, they arrived at the main entrance of the Purple Yang Divine Palace. where Qin Shuang had stabbed the purple Yang Excalibur into the hole and opened the main entrance of the purple Yang Divine Palace. I used to play here often when I was young. There shouldn't be any changes inside. After Qin Shuang opened the door, the place he directly entered was not the empty and huge plaza, but the extremely beautiful hall. Why did you come here directly? Those thief race people, and I will go to another place. Chun Xiang felt that this was unbelievable. That's because when you entered, you did not trigger a mechanism, and only those who are familiar with this place know of it. It was at the gate, and when I opened it, I used a purple Yang Excalibur to trigger it. Qin Shuang looked around, then pulled Chun Xiang to one of the walls of the hall. Why are you here? That was the door I went through last time, and after walking through a long passage, I found those Crystal Emperor. Chun Xiang said, Is there an entrance here? Of course. Qin Shuang caressed the mighty golden dragon carving on the wall, and in the end, her fingers stayed on top of the golden dragon scales, releasing a burst of strong world-defying stage fierce power. She pressed down hard, and a hole appeared on the dragon scale that she had pressed down. Then she stabbed the purple Yang Excalibur in, and a very small door immediately appeared on the stone wall, allowing only one person to pass through. So there were actually so many traps. Chun Xiang looked at the door he entered from last time and was extremely confused. Why would the Crystal Emperor be placed at such an easy place to find? It is easy to find, but without purple Yang Excalibur, you won't be able to find it. Qin Shuang said, There shouldn't be anything important over there. After Qin Shuang brought Chun Xiang through the narrow passage, they arrived at a study room. The bookshelves inside were all empty and were a little messy, as if they had been robbed. Seeing that, Chun Xiang could not help but shout out in shock. What is going on? Could it be that other people have entered this place before? But that is impossible. They need purple Yang Excalibur S to come here. He immediately became alert and carefully observed his surroundings. He was worried that there was a very strong person hiding inside. Don't panic. Qin Shuang saw that Chun Xiang was extremely nervous and patted his shoulder. This place should have been like this from the start. Qin Shuang carefully checked the empty bookshelves. He used his purple Yang Excalibur to stab into one of the bookshelves and easily penetrated it, only to see the entire study room suddenly flashing with purple light. After the purple light disappeared, there were suddenly a few books here. Something has appeared, Chun Xiang shouted. Qin Shuang had already picked up one of the books and was quickly flipping through it. Why is there nothing up there? Are you looking up there? Chun Xiang picked up a book and started flipping through it. It was all empty. He took a glance at the book that Qin Shuang was reading, and the inside was also empty. Of course you can't see. This is what the super young old ancestor wrote for his descendants to read. Without his bloodline, you wouldn't be able to see it. Qin Shuang said, At least I have a sword blood. Chun Xiang curled his lips. He was extremely curious about the contents of the records. Don't worry. If I find anything, I will definitely tell you. Qin Shuang seemed to have seen something important. His face was solemn. There were a total of 4 books here. For some reason, she suddenly put away the book and took out another. Soon, all 4 books had been read by her. What's written on it? Chun Xiang was extremely curious. A few trivial matters. Qin Shuang said. Even a child wouldn't believe what you just said. Something big must have happened. Chun Xiang stuck out his tongue. You actually lied to me. Popular. Didn't you also hide the matter of me entering the Purple Yang Divine Palace from me before? Qin Shuang acted as if she didn't know him, and said, Don't worry. There's a method to defend against the blood fire recorded on it. That's good. Then did they say where Super Young Old Ancestor went? Chun Xiang asked. Yes, but I don't know what kind of place that is either. The world-defying Holy Dragon probably knows about it. If my guess is not wrong, it should be above world-defying Stage Soul River. Qin Shuang said, Let's go find a formation plate. That formation plate can defend against the blood fire. Qin Shuang left the study room with Chun Xiang and wandered around the Purple Yang Divine Palace. Finally, they arrived at a room that seemed like an artifact forging room. She took out an array disc from the bottom of a large stove, and then poured some world-defying stage fierce power into it. Xianxia also took out the 6 realms mirrors and said, I'm going to copy the array inside. 6 realms mirrors has this kind of ability? Xianxia was a little surprised. Of course, my 6 realms mirrors is powerful. Then, he used the mirror to look at the formation plate. He only returned the formation plate to Xianxia after Fengkur told him that it was complete. And now, Xianxia asked, do you want to stay here for a few more days? No need, we need to hurry up and find Hong Qianni. Xianxia said, if possible, bring me to see Spirit of Divine Altar. After leaving the Purple Yang Divine Palace and reaching the surface, Xianxia immediately teleported outside the Divine Soil Restricted Area. The enchantment of the Divine Soil Restricted Area has become stronger again, Xianxia said in shock. Fortunately, I could have entered. When Xianxia touched the barrier, it released a very strong repulsive force at first. But when Xianxia sensed his aura, he immediately weakened it and he could bring Xianxia in. In the Sun God Forest, the Spirit of Divine Altar was releasing flames to help Chun Kai refine equipment. Xianxia gave a piece of the Crystal Emperor, but with Chun Kai's current strength, it was difficult to refine using the Crystal Emperor alone. Damn it, you're finally alive! When Xianxia arrived, he ruthlessly kicked Spirit of Divine Altar. Eldest Miss, Spirit of Divine Altar said in shock. You're actually still alive. You're prettier than you used to be. Heh heh. Humph. Xianxia coldly snorted. You are becoming more and more powerful. You have more and more Crystal Emperor on your body. I've been out of luck once, so of course I have to be careful now. Spirit of Divine Altar laughed. Xianxia, how did you seduce the first miss? She was the one who hooked me up. Who allowed the Purple Yang Excalibur to be in my hands? Xianxia laughed, but when he saw Xianxia's cold eyes, he immediately stopped smiling, and did not dare smile anymore. You have to protect the Divine Soil Restricted Area well here. There should be a lot of fellows targeting you at the top of the Myriad Tau. Xianxia said, if the Divine Soil Restricted Area S were to be breached, Grandfather will definitely not let you go if he finds out. Don't worry. With me here, Divine Soil Restricted Area will guarantee our safety. Spirit of Divine Altar was very confident. Let's go, we will look for Hong Qianni now. After seeing the Spirit of Divine Altar, Xianxia was more at ease after seeing his current strength. Hong Qianni? This guy was here before. He wanted to break through the spirit formation, but he failed. The Spirit of Divine Altar said, that's right. I want to bring the Sword Clans by family here. The relationship between the Sword Clans by family and Xianxia is not bad, and their strengths are very strong, so they are worthy of being nurtured. They have inherited the spirit of the super young old ancestors' sword Dao. Do whatever you want. Xianxia also approved of the Bai family, especially Bai Shuolan's sword blood, giving her a strange sense of intimacy. After Xianxia and his group left, they headed towards the Bai family. When Bai Shuolan and Bai Shiming saw that Xianxia had returned, they were very happy. But Bai Shuolan also noticed that Xianxia had become much stronger than before. Has Hong Qianni come? Xianxia asked. That's true, but the 1-year time limit is almost up. When the time comes, he will definitely come. Bai Shiming said. What about the other super young divine races? Xianxia asked. When Bai Shiming and Bai Shuolan saw Xianxia together with him, they knew that their relationship was not bad. Earlier on, Xianxia had lent his Purple Yang Excalibur to Xianxia. They came before, but were all beaten away by us. Bai Shiming said. The current Bai Shiming was extremely confident, because he already had the sword blood. Previously, Xianxia refined a sword blood pellet for him to eat. Hong Qianni will be here soon. Should we wait for him here? Bai Shiming said. No need, we'll go directly to Heaven Old Imperial Palace to find him. He should be inside. Xianxia said. Shuolan, you don't need to go. Stay here and watch over Bai Mansion. Was very surprised to hear that he had directly smashed into the Heaven Old Imperial Palace. Is that a problem? The Heaven Old Imperial Palace was still very strong. But Xianxia wanted to attack together with Xianxia. This made him feel that it was very dangerous. No problem. Xianxia laughed. Let's go now. They were in a hurry to go to Myriad Tao in search of the Tao Creation's holy stone. After leaving the Bai mansion, Xianxia brought Xianxia and teleported to the city where the Heaven-Old Imperial Palace was. The Heaven-Old Imperial Palace was heavily guarded and surrounded by layers of enchantments. It was extremely difficult to break through. This level of enchantment was not something Xianxia could easily break through. Even if Feng Kur took action, it would take him some time. I originally thought that I would be able to charge in, but it seems that it won't be that easy now. When Xianxia took out the heavenly magic sword, it had already fused with the world-defying stage Fierce Soul, causing its power to increase greatly. Hong Qianyi is inside. I made some noise and he would definitely know that I was coming. He should be running out to take a look himself, Qin Shuang said. She took out her purple yang Excalibur and slashed a few strands of sword qi at the Heaven-Old Imperial Palace. The purple-colored sword qi brought out waves of fierce flames, and like a few waves rushing forward, it collided with the barrier and created a shock wave. Bang! 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 A large number of buildings were destroyed because of the shock wave. The entire Heaven-Old Imperial Palace was shaken by the shockwave wave, causing a lot of the buildings inside to collapse. This barrier is so powerful, Qin Shuang exclaimed. She had used a very strong world-defying stage fierce power just now, but was unable to break it. Such a huge commotion had already shaken the entire city, and all the people around Heaven-Old Imperial Palace had fled far away. They were very clear that if people with such a cultivation level were to fight, if they were to be drawn into it, they would definitely die, and all they needed to do was watch from afar. Who exactly are they, to actually dare to provoke the Heaven-Old Imperial Palace like this? Don't they know that the Heaven-Old Imperial family is the most powerful out of the 9 sons? I'm so tired of living. This person looks very strong. If not, he would not have made such a huge commotion. The Heaven-Old Imperial Palace's barrier can absorb a lot of energy, but many palaces inside the Heaven-Old Imperial Palace have been destroyed by that energy. I heard that Hong Qianyi is in the Heaven-Old Imperial Palace and his strength is extraordinary. At such a young age, he is already a middle-stage world-defying crazy realm gifted fierce fighting god, and his world-defying stage fierce fighting soul is all in the 3rd floor and above. According to what I heard, there are still 4 floors. The people from the Heaven-Old Imperial Palace are out. Is that Hong Qianyi? In the distance, a man in golden clothes flew out as he hovered in the air. This person was Hong Qianyi. Xianxia was currently hiding on the ground and had not revealed himself. When Hong Qianyi came out, although he had already changed his appearance, he quickly recognized him. He had fought with Qin Shuang before, so he was extremely familiar with the smell of Qin Shuang's power. As expected, you all did not die. Looks like you all came out from the Blood Wind Fire Sea a long time ago. Hong Qianyi was currently very calm. His strength was not as strong as Qin Shuang's. If it was before, he would be extremely afraid of Qin Shuang. And now that he was so determined, it was clear that he had something to rely on. We were going to die, but we guessed that you would inform us, so we came back to life. If we didn't kill you, we wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Xianxia suddenly flew up from the ground and laughed. How do you feel about the dignified Heaven-Old Imperial family being a snitch? Xianxia, you. Hong Qianyi wanted to make a move, but he had a blood contract with Xianxia, so he couldn't make a move against him for a year. It was only a few days away from the end of the year, but he still didn't dare make a move. Shuang, if you kill this guy, I won't do anything. I don't look like I'm going to dirty my hands, Xianxia said to Qin Shuang. But Qin Shuang did not immediately make his move. This made Xianxia feel that it was a little strange, because Qin Shuang was a very decisive woman. There are people from the fierce saber race here, Qin Shuang said in a deep voice. There are 2 of them. They are not weak. They should be in the peak of world-defying crazy realm. Xianxia was also on guard, but he did not realize, because he could tell that Hong Qianyi was exceptionally calm, and so he had something to rely on. Not bad, you dog slave. You can actually bring your master here. However, this is not strange. Since you've discovered a treasure, master is happy and will naturally come. Chun Xiang's words made Hong Qianyi extremely angry. You just wait and see. As long as the contract expires, I'll surely torture you until you wish you were dead. Hong Qianyi's words were filled with viciousness. I'll wait for you. Chun Xiang disagreed, and at the same time, fiercely thrusted out his heavenly magic sword, unexpectedly taking the initiative to attack Hong Qianyi. Hong Qianyi had long expected this would happen, as his body erupted with a burst of golden light and released a protective shield. After enduring Chun Xiang's attack, his body was also sent flying, allowing him to return to the heaven-old imperial palace to hide inside the barrier. At the same time, a few figures flew out from the heaven-old imperial palace, carrying with them fierce saber race's unique aura. There are 4 of them. I'll take care of 3 of them while you take care of 1 yourself. Qin Shuang anxiously said. Although these fierce saber races were late-stage world-defying crazy realm, they were not terrifying fierce fighting goddess. They were just people who had fused with the world-defying stage fierce soul. Qin Shuang felt that dealing with 3 of them was not a problem. The 4 fierce saber race people were all middle-aged. Once they came out, they were sure that Qin Shuang was not easy to deal with, and quickly decided that 3 people would be necessary to deal with Qin Shuang. If it was just 2 of them, they didn't have much confidence either, and were even worried that they would be killed by Qin Shuang. They did not think that Chun Xiang was that powerful, even though Hong Qianyi had warned them time and time again not to look at Chun Xiang. After the 4 fierce saber races came out, one of them directly flew towards Chun Xiang. Chun Xiang had never fought with someone from the fierce saber race before. When the middle-aged man came over, he only saw that one of his arms had suddenly grown longer, and was extremely flexible, like a whip. The scariest thing was, his palm had turned into a sharp black blade, slashing towards Chun Xiang at an extremely fast speed. Chun Xiang did not expect his opponent to attack in such a strange manner. Luckily his reaction was fast enough. He brandished his sword and opened up the black blade, and after flying out, the blade suddenly swung over. This fellow! Chun Xiang teleported and slashed at the slender and flexible arm that was connected to the handle of the blade. With a swoosh, it was immediately cut off by Chun Xiang. What he did not expect was that after the arm was broken, it actually did not lose control and directly spun once, quickly piercing towards his back. When it came piercing over, the black blade suddenly shook, and like a sudden doppelganger, over 10 black blades of the same size shot over. Chun Xiang never expected that there would be such an attack, and it was even quick. Although he hurriedly dodged, he was still stabbed in the stomach. Just as he was about to pull it out, he felt that the blade was trembling. Not good. It's about to explode. Ku'er. Hurry up and seal the saber. Chun Xiang only thought that Feng Ku'er would be able to sense his intentions and quickly activate the seal. Feng Ku'er quickly sealed the black blade. With a muffled sound, the black blade only trembled for a moment before breaking apart. If it was not sealed, it would have definitely exploded. This guy's methods are really surprising. Chun Xiang finally experienced the power of a fierce saber race. Every part of his body could actually become a blade, and the black blade just now was the middle-aged man's flesh, so when it shattered, he could see fresh blood flowing out. There were still over 10 black blades flying around, and when the middle-aged man saw that Chun Xiang was actually able to dissolve his technique, he suddenly felt that it was a little difficult for Chun Xiang to deal with them. He anxiously retracted the black blades, and after the black blades returned, they turned into his arm, and the arm that was severed just now returned again, only that it was thinner than before, because he had released a blade that exploded but did not succeed. Other than being fast, this guy isn't that powerful. I just want to be on guard against his weird blade. Chun Xiang had already seen through his opponent's trick, and then, he took a deep breath. This time, he was the first to attack, directly teleporting over. The heavenly magic sword shook, and rushed out while roaring, the berserk sword force instantly causing the middle-aged man to be startled. Following the continuous increase in Chun Xiang's sword force, the middle-aged man's stupefied face was filled with fear. He seemed to have sensed Chun Xiang's world-defying stage fierce soul, and he was even certain that he was indeed an extremely powerful world-defying stage fierce fighting soul. World-defying stage fierce fighting soul. The fierce saber race's middle-aged man felt like he was in a great calamity. His 2 arms suddenly became 2 huge arms, blocking in front of his body. Bastard! Do you think I'm easy to bully? I'll let you bunch of grandsons see just how amazing I am. Xianxia let out a furious roar as his long sword hacked down. Like a bolt of lightning, it spewed out raging flames that fell like a giant axe. Bang! A loud sound was heard. When the 2 gigantic blades made contact with the heavenly magic sword, they instantly shattered, and after the heavenly magic sword slashed down, its tip released an extremely strong sword chi, aimed right at the middle-aged fierce saber race's forehead. After the sword chi erupted, it directly pierced through the middle-aged man's head. As his head was penetrated by the sword chi, the middle-aged divine sensei was in a state of collapse. Eh? The middle-aged man screamed. It won't be that easy to kill me. Xianxia's heavenly magic sword shook, and the berserk sword soul inside released waves after waves of tyrannical sword force. The instant Xianxia brandished his sword, the sword force exploded out, condensing into sword chi, and transformed into a violent storm, enveloping the middle-aged man from all directions. Shwa shwa shwa. The sword chi danced as it turned into thousands of swords, piercing back and forth in a domain, slicing the fierce saber race middle-aged man into pieces. Too terrifying. What technique is this fellow using? Furthermore, the sword force is actually so terrifying, to be able to sense it so clearly from so far away. That woman is even stronger. She can actually go 1 against 3. Those 3 middle-aged men can't hold on any longer. Right after everyone finished talking, Xianxia teleported over. The long sword stabbed, piercing through a middle-aged man's head. Originally, it was already difficult for the 3 of them to deal with Qin Shuang, but now that one of them was killed, the 2 of them were like a collapsing river wall that was quickly destroyed by Qin Shuang. The people in the distance could only see the purple Yang Excalibur's purple light dancing about in Qin Shuang's hands. The sword chi was like a dragon, and it was like a violent wave had swept the 2 middle-aged men into the surging sword chi and was torn apart by the sword chi. Humph! You think a bunch of trash can go to divine soil restricted area and plunder the myriad Tao divine soil? Qin Shuang sneered, and looked at Hong Qianni, who was inside the heaven-old imperial palace. Hong Qianni's face was filled with fear, especially Xianxia, who had actually made such huge progress, and could kill a fierce saber race ranker without relying on the 6 realms mirrors, which was something he couldn't do. You all, do you know who you just killed? Hong Qianni roared loudly. He felt that since he was hiding in the heaven-old imperial palace, Xianxia and Qin Shuang would not be able to break through the barrier. Of course I know. Isn't he your fierce saber race's master? You dog slave, your master is already dead. Why are you still blabbering here even if you didn't kill yourself? Xianxia mocked and laughed, making Hong Qianni extremely angry. No one had ever humiliated him like this before. Hong Qianni did not go out. Even if he went out, it would be useless, because he did not have the means to attack Xianxia. So he could only wait here for reinforcements to arrive. Humph! Just come in if you have the guts. Heaven-old Imperial Palace's barrier is the strongest in the entire Heaven-old Super Realm. Hong Qianni laughed coldly. He was luring Xianxia to attack the barrier, as it could consume both Xianxia's and Qin Shuang's energy. Xianxia could obviously see through his little thoughts. Xiao Kuer, how long will it take for you to break this barrier? Xianxia asked. There are quite a few layers of spirit formations here. I will need around 2 hours to break through them. Feng Kuer said. No, this is too long. I will break it open with force. Xianxia said. Up to you. Xianxia floated in the air, looking down at Hong Qianni, who was standing on top of a tall tower, and laughed. I will break this enchantment right now, and at that time, you will just need to stop crying. Qin Shuang just watched from the side. Although her cultivation was higher than Xianxia, and she seemed to be stronger than him, Xianxia's methods were far more powerful than hers. Xianxia took out the Tianquang furnace and controlled it to float in the air. Then, he made the Tianquang furnace become extremely huge, and in the blink of an eye, the Tianquang furnace was like a huge mountain, floating above the heaven-old imperial palace. When everyone saw such a gigantic cauldron, their hearts were all shaken. This cauldron had enveloped almost the entire heaven-old imperial palace, and everyone could see that Xianxia was using this gigantic cauldron to smash heaven-old imperial palace's barrier. Even Hong Qianyi, who was extremely confident in the barrier, felt shocked at this moment. "Break for me!" Xianxia let out a loud roar as he jumped above the huge cauldron. Then, he suddenly descended, heavily stepped on the roof of the huge cauldron, and released a wave of berserk world-defying stage fierce power, allowing the Tianquang furnace to ruthlessly fall down. In any case, Tianquang furnace were refined using Crystal Emperor's extremely fast, and they were extremely sturdy, and they also contained a very strong power. The Tianquang furnace collided with the barrier, and waves of air and tremors roared out, causing all the buildings in the city to crumble and collapse. The shock wave created huge waves of wind and swept away all the houses that had been destroyed, and in the blink of an eye, the entire city was flattened. "Ha ha! It did not break." Hong Qianyi laughed and mocked. "You useless thing. Although you look big, it is useless. I am right below you. What can you do to me? You little bastard. Once the contract is over, let's see how I, Patriarch Hong, will torture you to death." The houses inside the heaven-old imperial palace were in ruins. The people inside vomited blood from the shock, and at this moment, the inside was filled with wails of despair. "You're still being stubborn even when you're about to die." Xianxia laughed coldly, then controlled the Tianquang furnace to float high in the sky. Seeing that, the people from heaven-old imperial palace ignored Hong Qianyi and flew out of the enchantment of the heaven-old imperial palace. They could leave from the enchantment, but it would be difficult to go in. Seeing that many people had escaped, Hong Qianyi was furious and immediately attacked the people who were running away from the heaven-old imperial palace. In a short moment, many people were beaten to death and injured by him. Hong Qianyi treated the people from heaven-old imperial palace like this, so everyone ran even faster, because no matter what, death awaited them. Very quickly, there was only Hong Qianyi left in the heaven-old imperial palace. What made Xianxia feel strange was that heaven-old emperor and the elders actually hadn't come out. He had only heard that heaven-old emperor had already changed one, and it seemed to be even stronger. Boom! Xianxia's Tianquang furnace smashed down once again. This time it was even more terrifying than the last. Even Hong Qianyi, who was hiding inside the barrier, was shaken to the point where his face became pale. If not for him holding back, he would have vomited a mouthful of blood long ago. "Ha ha! It's useless. You can't kill me. This barrier is invincible." Hong Qianyi felt that the enchantment was still very strong, so he forced out a loud laugh. Everyone also felt that this barrier was terrifying. Even the buildings in the city and heaven-old imperial palace were turned into powder, but the barrier was still there. "Just laugh." Xianxia released the 6 realms mirrors and allowed it to become extremely huge, at least 3,000 meters tall. Such a huge round disc was rolling on the ground, looking like a giant wheel that could crush everything. Xianxia allowed the 6 realms mirrors to fly far away, and then controlled it to quickly roll. The speed of the 6 realms mirrors was already very fast, adding on to the fact that it was currently so huge when it flew over, the surrounding space was twisted. After it collided with the barrier, the resulting shockwave immediately tore apart the ground, ripping off a thick layer of soil on the ground. The enchantment started to loosen, and Hong Qianyi, who was inside, vomited blood from the terrifying energy. The gigantic Tianquang furnace that was floating in the air suddenly descended, smashing into the barrier, causing the ground to shake violently once again. The 6 realms mirrors quickly rolled and charged forward, fiercely smashing into the barrier. The Tianquang furnace smashed, the 6 realms mirrors collided, and so on and so forth until they violently attacked that barrier. With a series of booms and air waves, the constantly reverberating sound in the distance seemed to want to shatter the sky. The land had been ravaged beyond recognition. Originally, this was a city, but now the ground was split open and endless crevices crisscrossed the ground. Looking down from high altitudes, it was extremely terrifying. Hong Qianyi, who was inside the barrier, was struck continuously by the shockwaves and was no longer able to stand firm. Every time it vibrated, It was as if he was being pressured by a force, causing him to constantly vomit blood, as if he was trying to squeeze out everything in his body. The bounty isn't that easy to get. Xianxia laughed coldly. That's right, your barrier is indeed powerful, but we don't need to break it open at the moment to be able to eliminate you. Qin Shuang was already numb to his senses, watching from the side. Chen Xiang's two divine tools were just too terrifying. Once again, the 6 realms mirrors crashed into each other. Finally, it broke through the layers of barriers, and after it did, the Tianquang furnace in the sky descended and pressed against Hong Qianni. Just as he had killed Hong Qianni, a golden light shone from afar and a group of people riding on a cloud appeared. From their clothing, it was obvious that they were strong experts from the Heaven-Old Imperial Palace. It's a new Heaven-Old Emperor. I heard that guy came back from above Myriad Tau. He's also very strong. Where did they go? Why did they come back so late? Hong Qianni was killed. They should be going to the Divine Soil Restricted Area. There are a lot of people who came back from the Myriad Tau, all for the Divine Soil Restricted Area's sake. Everyone was discussing. Chen Xiang and Qin Shuang? Good, you guys are here and you even destroyed my palace. Go! When Heaven-Old Emperor saw that the city and the Heaven-Old Imperial Palace no longer existed, he became furious and roared. You're courting death. Chen Xiang immediately controlled the 6 realms mirrors to roll over from afar, and it crashed into the group of people with a loud bang. The 6 realms mirrors was like a ray of light, releasing a faint golden light, directly rushing over. Amongst the group of 30 or so people, only a few of them reacted and immediately dodged, while the others were struck by the gigantic 6 realms mirrors and their bodies were directly crushed by the strong impact. Heaven-Old Emperor was one of the ones who dodged. He widened his eyes as his heart filled with shock, because he did not even see clearly what was that thing that flew over. The 6 realms mirrors was hidden very far away from Chen Xiang, but under Chen Xiang's control, it could fly over in an instant. What bullshit, Heaven-Old Emperor. I wanted to kill you a long time ago. What bullshit, Heaven-Old Emperor. I wanted to kill you a long time ago. Chen Xiang sneered, and the Tianquang furnace that had just shrunk in size suddenly turned into a huge mountain, pressing down towards Heaven-Old Emperor. Ah! Heaven-Old Emperor let out a blood-curdling scream as his body was torn apart by the immense pressure and instantly killed. He was not a gifted fierce fighting god of the peak of world-defying crazy realm, and was simply not a match for Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang had 2 world-defying stage fierce fighting souls, and they were all extremely rare and powerful ones. Their strength was equivalent to peak of world-defying crazy realm, and even Qin Shuang did not have the confidence to defeat Chen Xiang. The powerful Heaven-Old Imperial family was annihilated within a single day, and millions of people in this city witnessed the entire process. Come, let's go to Myriad Tau. The last time she fought with Chen Xiang was still far from her. But since that battle, she had been by Chen Xiang's side almost every day. She had personally watched Chen Xiang grow stronger, and when she thought back to it, she felt that it was a long time ago. Chen Xiang brought Qin Shuang and teleported to the transmission array at the bottom of the earth. Then they activated it together and quickly arrived above the Myriad Tau. Let's go to the blood-wind black desert now. Chen Xiang laughed as he took out the 6 realms mirrors. After they entered the 6 realms mirrors, the 6 realms mirrors immediately began to roll at high speeds, bringing them towards the dangerous blood-wind and black desert. Qin Shuang took out an array disk from the 6 realms mirrors. This array disk was found in the Purple Yang Divine Palace. My 6 realms mirrors has copied it too. Chen Xiang laughed. When the time comes, I'll give it a try and see if I can withstand the blood fire. We have to be careful when we enter. There might be people from the Aoshi Holy Stage outside the blood-wind black desert. Qin Shuang said. They should know that we destroyed the Heaven-Old Imperial family in Heaven-Old Super Realm very quickly. After they find out, they would definitely think that we were not in the blood-wind black desert and would immediately leave there. Chen Xiang said. Why don't we wait for a while before we go in? Qin Shuang said. Don't be afraid. We will enter through the big hole left by the world-defying Holy Dragon. There is a passage to the blood-wind fire sea below, and we will meet with the blood fire below. When the time comes, we can also try and see if we can withstand the blood fire. Xianxia thought about it and said, the world-defying holy dragon seemed to have said before that the blood fire underground is even more powerful. If we can successfully use the formation disk to defend against the blood fire, we won't be afraid when we reach the surface. Xianxia nodded and agreed to do as Xianxia said. Xianxia quickly found the deep pit that the world-defying holy dragon brought them out of last time, and then entered this deep pit. They quickly found a tunnel beneath it. World-defying holy dragoness often run here and there, and they've always been able to open up many paths for us. Xianxia laughed and then controlled the 6 realms mirrors to roll as he entered the pathway. There were many tunnels below, and Xianxia could only go through them based on his memories from the last time he came out. Fortunately, his memories were very strong, and he was able to remember the way. We'll be here soon. Let's get out, Xianxia said. They could feel a wave of heat coming from within the 6 realms mirrors. It was the aura of the blood fire in front. All right. When they walked out of the 6 realms mirrors, Xianxia took out the array disk that could resist the blood fire. Xianxia also activated the 6 realms mirrors, releasing a light barrier to wrap him up. The energy aura released by the array disk is almost the same. Your 6 realms mirrors has copied it pretty well, Xianxia said. The array disk doesn't absorb that much world-defying stage fierce power. It can let us stay inside for a long time. Xianxia laughed. I'll try it out first. The giant tunnels below them were all very dark, and after walking for a while and reaching a bend, they saw a red light flashing in front of them, and right below them was the blood-wind fire sea. Do you feel the heat? Xianxia asked. It's not too hot. It's working, Xianxia said. Before, when we were above, as long as we were near the blood-wind fire sea, we would be able to feel the heat, and the flames underground were even more ferocious. But now we are already near the flames, but we did not feel the heat. It should be the effect of the array disk's power. Xianxia nodded. Then the 2 of them increased their pace and entered the blood flames. After entering, Xianxia and Xianxia were a little nervous. They were worried that the array disk would be useless. Let's not go into the depths yet. Xianxia saw Xianxia continuing to walk forward and anxiously shouted. The blood fire's special characteristic is that it becomes hotter and hotter, like an intelligent being, using warm water to boil the frog, so we will have to wait at the edge of the formation plate. Even if the power of the formation plate cannot resist, we can quickly escape. The last time she saw Xianxia's 6 realms mirrors being transformed by the blood flames, she knew how terrifying the blood flames were. If not for the sudden appearance of the world-defying holy dragon that time, they would have turned to dust long ago. 3 days later, after Xianxia confirmed the formation plate's ability to withstand flames, he finally dared to follow Xianxia inside. Xianxia, do you think there's a Tao creation holy stone down there? Along the way, Xianxia was surrounded by red flames, making it difficult to see anything. He also did not know how to find the Tao creation's holy stone. It's hard for us to find the Tao creation's holy stone in these tunnels. Don't you see the reason why world-defying holy dragon is digging underground? Xianxia said. This guy drilled down there to find the Tao creation's holy stone. It was only now that Xianxia thought of it. Yes, or else he wouldn't have the time to wander around below. Xianxia nodded his head. If we want to find the Tao creation's holy stone, we should first try going up. When they entered, they saw that there were many complex and huge passages below, all made by world-defying holy dragon. Previously, Xianxia thought it was strange, but now he finally understood. World-defying holy dragon also needed Tao creation holy stone, which was why they kept on searching below. Looks like the Tao creation's divine crystal that the world-defying holy dragon obtained was found below this. Xianxia said. I wonder how long he took to find it. Xianxia only hoped that he would be able to find the Tao creation's holy stone, and didn't even need to think to find the Tao creation's divine crystal. I don't know. How about we go find the world-defying holy dragon right now and ask if he has the trick to find the Tao Creation's holy stone? Qin Shuang said, otherwise, if we were to blindly search like this, without any direction, it would be extremely difficult to find. All right, let's go now. Very quickly, they arrived at the surface of the blood-wind fire sea. Although it was covered by an intense blood flame, it was extremely calm, and when Chen Xiang and Qin Shuang passed through, they did not feel the terrifying burning pain from before. They ran frantically for an entire day before finally arriving at Bloody Wind Island. The world-defying holy dragon was currently circling above the Bloody Wind Island. No one knew what it was doing. It's you guys, how did you get in? The world-defying holy dragon had already sensed that someone's aura was approaching, which was why he immediately flew into the air, wanting to see who it was. We entered by relying on a formation plate. Chen Xiang laughed. Senior Holy Dragon, we are here at the Tao Creation. Senior Holy Dragon, how did you find the Tao Creation's holy crystal before? Qin Shuang asked. Right now, we are able to walk safely within the blood-wind fire sea. We want to go find the Tao Creation's holy stone, but we don't know how to do so. I didn't expect you to find a way to withstand the blood fire. All right, I'll tell you all about the characteristics of the Tao Creation's holy stone. The world-defying holy dragon said, to be honest, I have only seen Tao Creation's holy stone twice in this place. So you're saying, Senior, other than possessing the Tao Creation's sacred crystals, there are also quite a few other Tao Creation's holy stone. Qin Xiang laughed. No, although I have seen Tao Creation's holy stone, I have not been able to capture them. Tao Creation's holy stone are very cunning. They would run around everywhere. All the Tao Creation holy stone I have seen are very small. In my eyes, they are just like grains of sand. It's not easy for me to catch such a small thing, so I failed twice. The world-defying holy dragon said. Tao Creation's holy stone and Tao Creation's divine crystals are just like fairies here. Although they can't speak, they can fly everywhere and even crawl into the ground easily. Catching them would be extremely difficult. The world-defying holy dragon said, you guys should have seen the tunnels underground. Some of them were made by me to catch Tao Creation holy stone. Then how can I find the Tao Creation's holy stone? Asked. Even though world-defying holy dragon had been here for so long, they had only seen Tao Creation holy stone twice and they had even escaped. Chen Xiang and Qin Shuang suddenly felt that it was extremely difficult to obtain the Tao Creation holy stone. Generally speaking, they would gather at the hottest place, so the Tao Creation holy stone and the other little fairies also knew that it was time to evolve. They could convert the intense heat into energy to strengthen themselves, and after a long period of time, they could make themselves even hotter, attracting other Tao Creation holy stone over. The world-defying holy dragon said, once the other Tao Creation holy stone passed by, they would be devoured by the hottest Tao Creation holy stone. If I swallow more, it will become the Tao Creation's holy crystal? Qin Shuang said. Yes, that's why the Tao Creation divine crystals are here, but it's very difficult to find them. The world-defying holy dragon swirled in the air and said, the blood-wind fire sea is very vast, and there are strong flames below as well. The Tao Creation's holy stone and the Tao Creation's holy crystals can hide in many places. Now, Chen Xiang and Qin Shuang understood even more clearly that it was not easy to obtain Tao Creation's holy stone and Tao Creation's sacred crystals.